Asato ma Gamaya Tamaso ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. This is the purpose of your incarnation, O Sai. And we celebrate the day you descended on this earth in this Kali Yuga to take us from unreal to real, to take us out of the darkness of ignorance to the illumination of our Atman, Satya Jyoti, Prema Jyoti, Ananda Jyoti. To take us from the death of this body, which is inevitable, to the death of our avidya, to the pure existence, birthless, deathless. We bow down to you on the day you incarnate. We will revisit a scene from the last Kutir session on glimpses of a Jivanmukhta from the Ashtavakra Gita. The ultimate climax is going to happen. So we go back to this scene briefly. Me, the Jiva, having traveled with my BMI as a sailor in my own world, ship samsara, I am getting to know intuitively that the final moment of realization is approaching. Me, the Jiva, is equal to ego. The ship, my own world, perceived by me by my ego. All the collective vasana bags which I have gathered of people in my own world all these years, my own vasana impression about myself and about others, Everything is drowning in the ocean of consciousness. I can feel my ego drowning, losing its identity, merging in the ocean of consciousness, drowning, drowning, drowned. And then miraculously, the body re emerges, but sadhakas visualize the body same as how I existed earlier, the body without the least trace of vasanas, the same body without the least trace of any ego, jivahood, the same body without any trace of any impressions about the world, the body with zero desires, zero attachments. How that existence will be. With all the sessions on the one truth imparted to you from 2011 onwards, at least imagine how that existence will be. The existence would be exactly as Satya Sai. Couple of things different in both this. A, of course, the physical structure may differ, will differ. B, Sai as Brahman is ever aware that he is the creator, sustainer of this entire creation. The body re-emerging without ego of a Jivanmukhta, though existing verily as Brahman, need not be aware that I, the Brahman, am creating. I am the creator, sustainer of this entire creation. Satyasai knew the future of himself, the future of the entire creation. The body re-emerged, of course, knows about its future as self, but need not be aware of the future of the others. But for these differences, they exist alike. Absolutely same. Now we move on to the verse which gives the existence post re emergence without ego. It is actually the bodiless body. What does that famous verse say about that existence of Janaka as much as all the existence of all the Jivanmuktas, Videhamuktas, Avadutas? Blown by the wind of effects of the past actions, the desireless, independent, free, and liberated person moves about like a dry leaf. What did Acharya impart to you about the body moving as dry leaf and the wind blowing? He taught you that the wind blowing is the wind of the collective vasanas of the entire beings in the creation in his world samsara ship. He may not be affected by the vasanas of unknown jivas. And he taught you that the body has fallen apart and moving around, blown by the collective vasanas of the people. It existed before, but now, unaffected by the wind of the collective vasanas, the body has fallen apart and existing to clear its prarabdha. For him, the body has gone away from him, like the leaf has parted from the tree. Now the tables are turned. As we progress in the Nididhyasana, the dry leaf body has not fallen apart. The body is there, exists. A Jivanmukta or a Videhamukta does exist with the physical frame. Then, how do we understand in our meditation about this dry leaf body? The wind of collective vasanas now has turned out to be the winds of his prarabdha. And the winds of prarabdha, leftover prarabdha, the arrows which have already been shot. We learned that the Sanchita karma are rendered powerless like roasted seeds. The in-flight arrows, the prarabdha which he has to clear for the actions taken up to the moment of realization, the wind of that prarabdha will definitely affect the body. Inside, he exists as Jiva minus ego is equal to Jivanmukta. At the surface level, the body suffers, or in other words, he has to undergo prarabdha, in whatever capacity, in whatever position he is still existing in the world. Now remember, there is no his boat created by his own ego, his own world. No. There is no sailor, the jiva with ego. Gone. The bodiless body exists. Wind of prarabdha is blowing. The Jivanmukta is unaware about the movement of his body. How he is unaware and how the body moves in such state, we are going to go through. And then we will come to the instructions on how it applies to sadhakas. Depending upon the speed of the wind of prarabdha, the intensity of prarabdha to be cleared, the dry leaf may sometime move slow, mild prarabdha. Sometimes it may be moving fast, acute prarabdha. Both can be together. In some aspects, it could be mild. In some aspects, it could be acute. For the world, this body is fresh green leaf, his body. For him, it is a useless, dry leaf. The dry here denotes the body. In Hindi, it is niras. The body existing without desires. Any desire, any attachment. So it is a dry leaf for him, maybe fresh leaf for others who look at him. This existence in the world is what? It is the same existence echoed in another verse where his gaze is vacant, his senses inoperative, his actions purposeless. This is exactly the dry leaf existence of the body. And how about the mind? Another verse we went through, devoid of the feelings of I-ness and minus, knowing for certain that nothing is, and with all his inner desires melted away, the wise man does not act, though he may appear to be acting. Already explained, the actions of the body moving like a dry leaf, blown by the wind of prarabdha, means nothing for the one who is existing as Amritam. Purposeless, actionless actions. Creation drown, body dry leaf. Actions mean nothing. Creation doesn't exist. Another verse said, this universe is but a mode of thinking. It is nothing in reality. The inherent nature of the existent self and the non existent creation, both things are never interchangeable. It means the existent self can never be non existent, and the non existent creation can never come back as a real creation. With this background, how will be the actions of a liberated Jivanmukta, though his body, mind, intellect do exist like dry leaf? Actions necessitated by the wind of prarabdha as a householder, being in the family, towards the family, actions which are required necessarily get done with no desire, no expectation. Same applies for actions due to prarabdha when it comes to close relatives, closest relatives apart from spouse and children, parents, etc. His own healthcare and family healthcare, all the necessary things for the healthcare are done with no desired expectation about the outcome. Office or workplace related duties, again, with absolutely no desires, no expectations. Whatever needs to be done gets done automatically. Reactions, bad, negative, from family members, relatives, known people, office, superiors, staff, and all others who are still there because the body has not left the world. Absolutely no reactions, absolutely no impact of all any bad, any negative actions, words, etc. from all this section. Nothing ever enters in the state of indivisible rock that he exists as. He never comes down from the state of self at all. those who are closer to him and are positive about him, it seems that all the actions are being undertaken out of love. Like we learned in the Paramadayalu aspect of Bhagavan, when actions of a Jivanmukta are observed by people around who are not negative towards him, though they might not have understood fully as close sadhakas, but they they like him and they are positive with him. For them, like the Bhagavan's Paramadayalu diamond aspect, his actions may seem to be taken up with love. But whereas how they are being taken up, we will go further. Now, action in the divine mission as Guru, as Guru Tattva. If both the Guru and the disciples are in the Himalayas and both of them have no family, no responsibilities, then obviously every little action, every word emanating from their Guru, smallest of actions, smallest of words, simple expression, the disciples now totally taken over by the Acharya, all the expressions, all the words, all the actions of their Guru, necessarily they would instantly start contemplating on the same. However, when the disciples are not in the Himalayas with the Guru, though the existence of the Guru, whosoever it is, whichever realized master it is, applicable to all realized masters, the Guru in essence exists in aloneness of self in the Himalayas, though he lives in the four walls with the family. But the disciples, being householders, with the necessity or the liberty, as the case may be, to devote considerable time for their family related affairs, family related actions, the words or the actions of Acharya which are not directly hitting their focus and directly getting into their nididhyasana, that is directly aimed at their goal of self-realization, except that other words, other actions, other expressions of the Acharya may not be taken seriously by the disciples. This is the unfortunate part of the association of Guru and disciples, where Guru being in the Himalayas in essence, Shishyas being householders. He can recount of few posts which were not responded by any of the disciples, but the disciples would know, so he is not listing them down. The reason is this: anything related to the Jivanmukta's existence, anything related to what is happening between him and Sai, or him and God, in case of other Jivanmuktas, may or may not directly hit the bull's eye, directly hit the Nididhyasanam part of the disciples. So, the ideal scene is that one aspect of deliberation has to be there in the Guru, that the Shishyas are householders. They have to divide their time between family and the sadhana. So, that deliberate is thought is required, unfortunately, and the Guru has to ensure that not much expression emanate from him which do not directly help in the sadhana for self-realization of sadhakas. Now, regarding any song which emerges from any realized master, Tattvam, Shivananda Maharaj, Paramahamsa Yogananda, Ananda Mahima, any master. Any song, like he said, if all are in Himalayas, even the song would be a part for contemplation. The disciples wholly dedicating their life, their 24 hours to in the mission towards realization, closely observing the moment of their acharya, a song would mean a lot for contemplation. Observing and taking in, absorbing the state in which the song has emerged from their master. But in this Grahastha life, it may not be true. Then, in that situation, what is the purpose at all of specifically your guru or any guru who doesn't have an ashram, who leads a grahastha life, and the shishyas are also leading a grahastha life? In that situation, how would or how will the song emerge? The existence prior to the emergence of the song would be self. The existence while the song comes out is self. The existence after the song ends is self. There is no singer, there are no listeners. There is no song. All that exists is self. Now coming to sadhakas. From this part onwards, it becomes very crucial for practice and existing in your life, and this life and future lives to come, till the time the difference between the Guru Tattvam and the Shishyas is erased and they merge with that essence Tattva. So this part would be then irrelevant for them. The first part applies to them. Actions as part of prarabdha. All that has been explained in the context of a Jivanmukta exactly applies to you as sadhakas. Actions in the course of clearing his prarabdha is decided by the blow of winds of past action, of winds of prarabdha. Where he has taken you or where Swami has taken you through him, whatever way, there is no difference. The essence is the same. From this moment onwards, the effect of the winds of collective vasanas should go, should leave you, prostrate and leave you. What then remains is the wind of the prarabdha. And in essence, inwardly you may not be existing as self 24 by 7, but inwardly sadhaka in their sadhana, continuous, incessant, non-stop, uninterrupted sadhana, and outwardly the body moves like dry leaf with the impact of the wind of prarabdha, past actions. When you listen to this pour again, correlate all your daily actions with this instruction from the essence, much beyond the form of your guru. How they are impacted, how they are done, are they being, is my body mind moving like a dry leaf? That means it is there within, but it exists. Moving means acting here, not literally falling in the ground and acting and going there. The dry leaf body mind moving is how much of is due to the blow of the wind of collective vasanas, which includes my own vasanas, and vasanas give birth to ragadvesha, desires, attachments. How much of the dry leaf body mind actions are influenced by vasanas, how much they are purely due to the wind of prarabdha, and how soon, at the soonest, how I have to say goodbye to the wind of the vasanas and let for perforce, no choice, and to observe the wind of prarabdha impacting my body mind, which is colorless, which is taking up actions like a dry leaf. Strictly speaking, no actions are allowed which are not part of your prarabdha. Of course, other than Shravana Manana Nididhyasana, which is a part of your Purushartha, that is separate. No wind of Vasana's desire should have the propensity in them to impact your thoughts, words, deeds from this moment onwards. Actually, if the Guru and the disciples both are in the Himalayas and there is unconditional surrender, the disciples are observing that he is liberated soul from morning till night. And even when I observe him sometimes in the deep sleep, completely liberated. And in that, to that liberated self, Acharya, when the sadhakas have surrendered totally, then in the sahaja sthiti, the guru can even slap the sadhaka. But while in the creation, it may not happen. But he can tell that the instruction is that no action should be taken up while in the creation, in whatever capacity you are, which is not blown by the wind of prarabdha. You have no liberty. After 12 years of intense one-to-one force, limitless force, if he can be strict and if you would surrender and accept that strictness. A least trace of impression about Guru in form may block that strictness, instruction with strictness from getting into your heart and soul. Only when you are absolutely convinced that the Bhagavan, unmanifest, manifesting in the creation due to it's an act of benediction. We were told in the Avatar satsang, it is the act of compassion and love for the transformation of the mankind. That Bhagavan, that essence, and the Guru essence, Tattvam, if when you are absolutely convinced that it is the same, no difference, then you would take, if at all any strict instruction emanates from the Guru Tattvam, it will be taken as the instruction from Bhagavan. If there is a least trace of any impression, then it may not penetrate. In the penultimate stage, for sadhakas who are yet to abide in self, the instruction is to combine the effect of your nididhyasana and your devotion and literally manifest as love while taking up any action during the course of clearing your prarabdha. The combined effect of the nididhyasana state and the love state, let that be the man, let that manifest in all your actions while clearing your prarabdha. In penultimate state, he will come to the final state. The test is any action in prarabdha towards spouse, children, relatives, world, etc. Did I have any desire or attachment while doing the act? Did I have any expectation while performing the act? Did I have the Jiva Bhava while doing the act? Or I had none of this. I was only absorbed in the essence of my master's teachings and was above all the actions internally while my body mind took up the action. For this, it is necessary that you are always breathing and living in the essence of one of the pose or the other. When suddenly a family member shouts, suddenly some negativity approaches, at that moment, you cannot hope to immediately get absorbed in the essence of his teachings and rise above the ego vasanas and manifest as love. It doesn't happen. You would have reacted, and then, if you are a sincere mumukshu sadhaka, you will repent later. That, oh, I should not have reacted. It cannot happen. Only when you exist from the morning to night in the essence of, as the essence of one or combination of force, then, since you are not realized, then the manifestation or the response, your actions or response to other actions will be love. Can be love. Otherwise, not. Otherwise, most of the responses you will fail. Acting in divine mission as sadhakas. At an uncompromising level. Serious instructions today. Contemplation, contemplation, contemplation. Living in pores should never be compromised due to actions taken up. Living this life due to your prarabdha. The divine mission of Acharya to give only for your transformation should exactly match with the divine mission in which sadhakas are to exist in pore for transformation. There should not be mismatch in this. One line in yesterday's pore to few core disciples: which flame is all pervading at the Himalayan level within you, and which flame is a tiny spark within that huge flame. Whether the huge, humongous Himalayan height flame, never extinguishable flame, is your flame of mumukshatva, or the flame of your existing as a mere householder, a mere jiva. Depending upon that, the other will exist as a tiny spark, which may even get extinguished sometimes to be reignited. You are singing. As sadhakas may not be as self all time. At best, you can exist as love. Meditate on this song for a week. Which means ideally he doesn't say you doesn't he is not strictly instructing you should not, but that means that not to even opt for any ITP song or sudden song. If a song has been not been meditated upon for a week, ideal. You may take up ITP due to the need of the center. You may sing. That is different. For this, plethora of talks on numerous bhajans are available by click of a button. Moreover, you have the liberty, the freedom with the Acharya to inform him the bhajan you have selected and to give him, request him to pour to you one-to-one audio for you to meditate on that bhajan for a week. Exclusively few sadhakas have that liberty. After meditating on this song for a long time, the meditation has to be so intense that the essence of the contemplation, essence of the meditation of that song that has filled you, that has completely taken you, that has pervaded you, and the song per se, the singing per se, has left you on the day when you go and sit for singing. And the essence exists. Some sound emerges through the vocal cord outside and gets transmitted through the mic. Sometimes even it may not be up to the mark. Never mind. Practice is necessary because you may exist as love, manifest as love, but when there is an apashruti or when there is a problem, then the other devotees get disturbed. For that, that is required. But that day, necessarily, the song, the singer, everything should surrender and merge in the essence you exist as love. Otherwise, don't sing. Singing for the sake of singing and showing our little capability when it comes to sangatis, when it comes to the alab, when it comes to the rendering, and when it comes to murkiya, let that be over in your chapter totally. If they flow spontaneously, let them flow. But that is not the focus anymore. If the singer is existing while the core sadhakas are singing on that day, your song purpose is total, utter fail. In the eyes of, and in the eyes of world may appreciate. Sadhakas, has the singer gone 100%? Is the involvement in song singing and the process gone totally? Are you existing as love totally? In every bhajan session or after the bhajan session, till the bhajan session, during the bhajan session, also you are supposed to exist as essence. After it is over, you might as well put up these three questions, note in your diary, and then ask yourself. Other spontaneous acts. See, apart from all these things, some actions may not be as due to prarabdha, may not be in the divine mission, may not be singing, but say sometimes some stranger approaches you for some help or something, or not even help, he is communicating to you something, or something is happening which is not planned before and which is definitely not as due to your prarabdha wind, not in the divine mission, not in the singing etc. There also your communication should be only manifestation of love that you exist as. You should exist as. Having said, now for the ultimate sthiti where even the rules of how to face prarabdha action, how to face anything spontaneously, how to sing, all these things are all gone. Ultimate state. Why ultimate state has to be the goal and nothing less? Because when he speaks all these things, he has entered into the heart of each sadhaka, stayed there, and then shaken inside, and then has come out, and then he is pouring. Why only the ultimate state, which is going to be really revealed now, is the it has to be the only goal? Why? Because bringing love, manifesting as love, with family members, with others, in office, elsewhere, seems very beautiful. But it is sometimes difficult to bring that love, manifest as love. Especially when your family members or relatives are not compatible, they don't understand you, friends are not friendly, spouse doesn't understand, health situation is bad. Bringing in love, manifesting as love in this situation may be challenging. Then you told, you get half an hour, you taught us to exist as love. Now you are telling it is difficult. Then what, Guruji? What is the solution? Ultimate and the only solution to everything, it is coming out as from his that existence as love, as self. Ultimate and only solution, you have to keep on trying to manifest love, but just because the goal seems to be far off, we can never lose sight of the goal. Always, always, always keep focused, like Arjuna was focusing on the eye of that fish. Always your goal should be what? Exist as shining, splashing, sparkling, vibrating self. In existence as self, prarabdha clearance, existing in divine mission, facing all singing and facing things spontaneously, all these things take place effortlessly. It is even beyond love. It is the state of Nirguna Nirakara Brahman who need not be Paramadayalu, to whom he has to be Paramadayalu. When there is nothing, when it just nothing other than Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahman. Prarabdha, family, sometimes negative, blaming you, completely misunderstand you, negative vibrations, stay as self. Children ignore you, leave you, stay as. Relatives humiliate you, desert you, stay as. Bad health despite taking healthcare, stay as. All adverse negative things while clearing prarabdha, stay as. Sometimes when need is there, may have to be respond, may have to be assertive, may have to be strict. While, so for example, a hypothetical disciple, a hypothetical example, when it is apparent that relatives are about to deceive you, then you have to react, of course. But that is the camera zone. It should not be out of ego. It should not be out of expectation at all. At all. It is just because the self illumines your action, your response, even in such instance. Not you, the jiva, react. The self illumines your senses, your expression suitably in such a way. Actions in divine mission exist as self. For him, existing as self. During the poor, before the poor, after the poor, ever. Because for a moment, if he comes down from that state of self and addresses you as a guru in a human form, he may expect your response. Of course, singing stay as self. Ultimate state, he is telling. Ultimate. This is the goal. How existing as self song emanates. Two examples when Mane Ek Bar Hari Bol was sung, when Sada Nirantara Harigun was sung. Existing as. How Shivanandaji Maharaj would be singing Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. May not be an expert musician's voice, may not be a Tansen's voice, may not be Pandit Bhimsen Joshi's rendering, but the self sings. Now, beyond, step by step, the verse which says, he has gained the fruit of knowledge as well as the fruit of practice of yoga, contented and purified his senses, ever revels in his aloneness indeed. This is Avadhuta state, not Jivan. Not even aware that his body exists like a dry leaf. He is existing as trunk self. The body is existing to move like a dry leaf whenever prarabdha wind blows. Not aware of all these things. All types of actions covered till now, they all lose their relevance. This particular pour has to be taken as the milestone pour, which has to validate your state of evolvement in your spiritual journey, step by step, step by step, step by step. Avadhuta is not aware of any action due to prarabdha. He does not act in any divine mission. He does not manifest love. Even if people see it as love, he is not aware that it is manifesting. From his existence, if any sincere Mumukshu sadhaka is benefited in his spiritual journey, that is the good karma of sadhakas. No efforts in the divine mission by an avadhuta. For the one who exists as Brahman before the creation of the first ever time creation, where is the prarabdha? Where are the karmas? Where are the prarabdhas? Where there is any disciple to be taught, where there is any love bliss to be radiated. A Jivanmukta also exists exactly at this state when he is alone. But when he has to act as per prarabdha, when he moves in the world, at least he is aware that the body is moving, taking up action like dry leaf. But he exists as self. When he acts in the divine mission, he is aware that he is acting. When he is singing, he should not be aware that he is singing. And he will not be aware that he is singing from now. But an avadhuta has gone beyond all these things. Coming towards the end of whatever this particular session means to you. Remember, this is the first practical implications of the Bhagavad Gita with relating to the five components of the definition of friendship given by Swami, and then progressed and gave the glimpse only of a Jivanmukhta existing as self. And then this comes when it starts from being aware of the prarabdha as a Jivanmukta, as a sadhaka also, going step by step, him existing as self, they have to exist as love, and then they both progress, and the final instruction to exist as self, and the final to the final, further to the final, the avadhuta, where no prarabdha, no singing, no divine mission, no acts, no spontaneous act, no love, nothing. What it means to you, your innermost antaratman conscience has to decide. The essence tattvam leaves you with these questions. What are all the acts which I am taking up purely to clear as a part of my prarabdha? Am I existing as love, manifesting love, while in the course of taking up such actions as a part of my prarabdha? How much my Shravana Manana Nididhyasana communicating back to Guru, how much it matches exactly in the divine mission in which Guru Tattvam is pouring to me. Even in some actions which are not to clear prarabdha, not as a part of divine mission, are my actions filled with 100% love? What is the gap at present between my existence as love, as self means beautiful, but at least, at the least, existing as love, existing as the essence of the song which has been meditated upon by me for a week, 10 days, selecting the song well in advance and meditating. What is the gap between that existence, and your existing existence while you are about to start singing, switching on the mic, catching the shruti, and starting to sing? How much is the gap? And how convinced am I to fill whatever gap that is there in my life as of now, and what my Guru Tattvam has instructed me to exist from now onwards, while clearing my prarabdha, while acting in the divine mission as sadhaka, while singing, while taking up any spontaneous actions which comes to you suddenly. What is the gap, and how I have to progress from present state to the state of self, a state of love, and then existing as self, and going beyond the awareness of existing as self. With what seriousness am I going to approach and take up the gaps between my present state and the state as per the strict instructions of the Guru Tattvam today during the talk, during the pour, and how much I am convinced that more serious I am to reduce and eliminate the gap, less distant I am from the state of self realization. It can happen in this birth. A song emerged from self, as self, on Bhagavan's incarnation date. And then after that, this core of pose, especially for sadhakas. Sai mera, Sai mera, Sai mera, Sai mera, Sai mera, मैं तेरा ये प्रेम की बहती धारा, 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 ये प्रेम की बहती धारा। दीन दुखियों से प्रेम करो मेरा, साईं प्रसन्न होगा। दीन दुखियों से प्रेम करो मेरा, साईं प्रसन्न होगा। प्रेम करो, प्रेम करो मेरा, साईं प्रसन्न होगा। साईं मेरा ये तेरा ये धारा साईं मेरा मैं तेरा, ये प्रेम की बहती धारा, ये प्रेम की बहती धारा, ये प्रेम की बहती धारा, मेरा साईं प्रसन्न मेरा साईं प्रसन्न होगा, मेरे बाबा प्रसन्न होगा, दीन दुखियों से प्रेम करो मेरा साईं प्रसन्न। The self thinks, the self acts, the self posts, the self is silent. It is all just the pure, spotless, changeless Atman. Hari Om Tat Sat.